It says I'm live. Folks, happy Monday. How are you? It is June 26th. June 26th. So if you're gearing up for your end of month spreadsheet nonsense, we're getting closer and closer to that. Now, I don't know about you, but here at the Mañana No Mas agency, I am really focused on the revenue side of things as we close out this month. Got a lot of big goals I'm working on, a lot of big transitions. And so I want to really focus on that revenue thing, right? So every now and then you focus on, is it revenue? Is it growth? Is it, whatever, right? You got to figure out like what's your focal point as a company in the moment, and then move on that. As I see folks are joining the live, I want to welcome you folks. Go ahead and, jump in, put in a comment, tell me who you are, where you're from. Today, what I want to focus on is foundations. It's a thing that's Adam Silver. There he is. My goodness, look at him. Let's just put him right up on the screen. When I think about foundations, it's so many things, right? So yeah, it's faith, it's beliefs, it's all of that. But I had a really great experience this weekend in that my nephew, who is in the Navy and has just finished with the boot camp side of things and getting his first 2 years of education done there. He took a thing in South Carolina, right? And then he took a thing in Seattle, and I'm in Southern California. So he's driving across the country and he's seeing things and he's doing cool stuff. And he stops to, and I'm going to do this live with the weed whackers and everything in the neighborhood. So, it's real, it's authentic, right? He drives across the country and he stops here this weekend to spend time with me, which I'm thrilled and blessed that he did. But this young man is so polite, so dialed in, what is it? Clean and tight, right? High and tight, whatever. I mean, like he's well groomed. He had a cat with him. The cat was clean. His manners were on point. He went to a hockey game with me and my son. I fed him. Oh my goodness, I fed him. His table manners, his please, his thank you, his respect to my wife, his respect to my daughter, his friendship with my son, all on point. So where do all these positive things come from? I mean, we're looking at a society that seems to be falling apart at every seam, and then this kid shows up at my house and he just nails it on like every category. And you say to yourself, well, how does that happen? Is that just dumb luck? No, it's not dumb luck. It's foundations, right? So my sister and my brother-in-law have instilled, wonderful foundations in this human being, so that as he goes on and interacts within the military, with family, with friends, with other organizations, he comes out of the chute striving, succeeding, good foundations. Another thing that happened with foundations with me today that got me thinking about foundations was I'm assisting. How does this work? Because I'm like a subcontractor on this big project, and there's this big project that's getting launched, and one of my responsibilities is to isolate where this person actually where this client actually wants to host their project, and then get it live to that hosting. So last week it was like, okay, so we're going to do this big data migration, and then we're going to make your website live. I need to know where you want to put this website. So we've done the hard work. The website's done. Now I need to know, are you going to make a commitment to where we're going to park this thing? And so like, oh yeah, we're going to park it here. And I go, okay, great. So what I need to do is I need to get access to that URL so I can change those name servers over. And folks, this is what I'm talking about with foundations. We've been working on this project for like 6 months, and Adam works in IT, so Adam is going to probably slap my wrist here, but we've been working with this project for like 6 months. And so when I go, which URL are we going to publish to live, and where are we going to put that URL? And they gave me information. They said, well, here's where our URLs are. Well, shocker, I signed in and the URL wasn't in their list of URLs. So that was like a little bit of a pucker moment where we were like, wait a minute, we just built this whole project for the last 6 months and you don't have access to your own URL? Like, where is it? And so it became like, maybe the old developer has it and has been maintaining it for the last 10 years. Maybe it's here, maybe it's there. Let's look through some old emails. Folks, that ball was dropped multiple times along the way, and I believe in being transparent on these calls. So I tell you when it's good, I tell you when it's bad. So it turns out that their particular business is part of a licensing scheme. So their URL is managed by another company that licenses them the ability to have their project. So and I'm not giving you names or throwing other information out there to give this away or share anything I shouldn't share. Here's my point. My point is they've made a pretty substantial investment in a new website and new data migration and new hosting, and they're building this whole project on someone else's URL. That to me, like when that hit me this morning, because it was just this morning that last piece of reality hit, and I thought to myself, you're making an awful big investment in somebody else's project. Like, it's their project, right? But since they license it, they're really edifying someone else's project. I don't know if that's ringing true with you or not. That's kind of like when I see people building these giant training platforms in Kajabi, or these giant social groups in Circle, or these giant social groups in Mighty Networks or something like that. Because at the end of the day, you didn't build something of your own. You didn't build something that you can, download, put on a hard drive and put in another system. You didn't build something that was your own. You made an investment. It's sometimes a sizable investment in something that's part of someone else's bigger picture. And that's hard for me as an entrepreneur to really stomach sometimes. So, like, do I want to own my own sandwich shop, or do I want to buy into the Subway franchise? Well, I guess that's for everyone to figure out for themselves, right? What's the question for you? But as I look at our board for the month here, the things that we kind of focused on and talked about, we talked about people that want to be your equity partner. We talked about mentorship and how cool Piero is in Italy. We talked about consistency and what your sweet spot is. We talked about getting active, how everything is related to politics in some kind of way. So what are yours? And then, feeling blessed, falling down because of pride. And then today I wanted to kind of finish up with, foundations. What are your foundations? And so for your projects and for your things and for your relationships, do you consider what the foundations are that you can build off of, that you can find growth through? Again, another transparent topic. I am working really, really hard right now at growing the Mañana No Mas agency. To me, it's cool to have good work. It's cool to have cool customers. It's cool to have this, free flow. I can work in the middle of the night. I can work in the morning. I can work in the afternoon. I can go bicycling at night. So that part's all cool. Okay. But if I'm going to grow it, if it's going to become a verifiable entity, then I have to build that upon strong foundations. And so I've been working on that. I've been putting a lot of what I do to a standard operating procedure and building training content for that in the back end of the Mañana No Mas website, so that when I bring in other contractors and employees and people that are going to work alongside of me at Mañana No Mas, I'm going to be able to say, hey, I know you're familiar with building websites, but this is the process we do here. Hey, I know you're familiar with how websites are hosted in general, but specifically, this is how we host them at Mañana No Mas, right? And then all of that's going to be in there. So there'll be screen shares of, this is what the hosting backend looks like. This is what our website build on the backend looks like. This is our main tech stack. These are the plugins that we've chosen and why, and here are some examples of those as we've built them. So all of that is getting built into a platform so that as I expand, as I hire people, I'll be able to put them into a really strong foundation so that they can feel secure, they can feel confident, and then I'll know that they have at least the resources to really perform in the positions that I put them in. And so that's kind of what we're currently working on. So you can see my focus really is really strong right now on like focusing on what are foundations. This is kind of like, and I'm going to wrap up with this because I've got a meeting in 5 minutes. So I really got to wrap up pretty quickly here. But if you took the course in Mañana No Mas before about key performance indicators, a key performance indicator is something that you track, something you can track consistently in your business. And so you can monitor if you're going up or down, up or down. You'll hear that a lot, right? What are my KPIs or what are my key performance indicators? And when I consult with a lot of companies, when I'm doing the consultant side of Mañana No Mas, a lot of times it'll come up. I'll be like, so what are your KPIs? What are you tracking? And that takes us right back to foundations, because it's like, what are you tracking? If you're someone that's in production and you're making, let's say that you're making optical mice for the internet, right? So, how much does each of these cost? How do you make them? Where do you source all these parts from? Where's this? Where's that? Where's the other? And all of those answers become data points. And those data points become something that you can track and something that you can begin to manipulate over time to track your profitability and your margins. And so, how many of these do we build in a day? How many do we build per hour? How many people work per shift? What is the percentage per person that generates one of these pieces? And so these are the types of questions that you begin to ask yourself through KPIs that help you in determining, do I need to expand? Do I need a new building? Do I need more tooling? Do I need more people? Do I need less people? Is there a busy season? Is there a slow season? Is there all that stuff? And so for me, as I put this together, working on my foundations, and I think about the foundations I see in other people and other groups, it kind of gives me that gauge of where I'm at and how I'm performing as a person, as an entrepreneur, and as a mentor. So that's that. I hope you guys find value in some of the stuff I put out. I really do. Here's what we're going to do today. I'm going to go right into the hey, thanks for watching, and I'm going to close out, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.